I've got the Ford all loaded up. I'm headed up to the Two Rivers area on Lake Roosevelt. I'm going to be fishing with Rick Rovegno, who is the nephew of Gordon Steinmetz. Now, you may be familiar with that name. Gordon Steinmetz and his wife Marge owned and operated big walleys on the shores of Banks Lake for many years. Gordon also was a tournament walleye fisherman and had a guide service. I was very happy to learn that although they've sold big walleys and Gordon has retired from the guide service, he's passed it on to his nephew Rick, and that's who I'm going to meet. We're going to be headed up to Gordon's houseboat right there at the Two Rivers Marina and head out the next morning in search of walleye. We'll probably be fishing in the vicinity of Two Rivers, south of the lake on Lake Roosevelt proper, and then into the Spokane arm, as the Two Rivers Marina sits right in the mouth of the Spokane River. So it looks like the weather's going to be in our favor, and I have never spent enough time on Lake Roosevelt, which is a wonderland for boating, other recreation, and also great fishing for walleye, smallmouth bass, big kokanee, and rainbow trout. So I can't wait to get up there and meet Rick and his son Hayden, who's going to be fishing with us as well, and do some walleye fishing on Lake Roosevelt.
There we are. Here's our buddies taking off next to us. Breaking a little ice this morning to get out of the marina. It's not bad. It was a little thicker yesterday, but much better today. All right, Rick, we're on the water.
All right, Dave. Well, we're up here on Lake Roosevelt, and we're just going to head out of the marina here, and we're not going to go very far. We've got a ridge out here that we were catching some nice fish on yesterday, and hopefully they're still there. Little winter walleye fishing on Lake Roosevelt. Broke some ice coming out of the marina, so being a little crazy today. But the sun's out and warming us up, and we're going to give her a shot here.
And you found fish yesterday, both right out here outside the marina and then up the Spokane River, is that right?
We did, right out here by the mouth. We're going to be jigging today with glow jigs and just worm on the hook, no rubber. We will have some jigs out with skirts on them, but pretty much yesterday just the glow jigs with just a worm on the hook. We spray a little scent on there and go from there.
Hot dog. Well, I can't wait. Well, we're in position. There's Rick's buddies in the background. They're following us around because Rick knows where the fish are. And now we're going to be jigging today, and let's see what you got in your hand there.
Well, Dave, these are those glow jigs.
Right.
And actually I need my chamber, which actually is a luminous lights that we can get it glowing.
Oh, okay. Now your chamber, is that different than we used to pop it with a...
Yep. Well, this is kind of a birthday gift I got.
Oh.
And it's a little chamber. Close it up. Give it a little light.
Oh, that's right. And it just intensifies the... Okay. Pretty slick.
And then what I like doing is not putting on a whole worm.
Okay.
I go about an inch or two below the hook. You can see.
Got it, yeah.
And for some reason with this live bait, the walleye seem to hang on to it. Throw a little scent on there. And let her go. We're going to be basically dragging jigs today. And we're
Oh,
gonna
okay.
try to go about 0.5 miles an hour. And there's two ways you can do this. You can, what we call dead sticking, just put it in the rod holder, and believe it or not, these fish will grab it and hang on to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday it was working good, working these jigs a little bit.
Just a little bit, but
Just a little bit.
with colder water temperatures, they're not going to go 2 or 3 feet to chase down a jig. It's got to be pretty easy pickings for them. Is that right?
That's right. And their bites, most of the time you don't feel a bite. What you're going to feel is just weight. And
Just gets
if you've
heavy.
done enough jigging, you just know it's something different. You know it's a fish. You know, a lot of times you'll feel weight, and then maybe you'll feel a couple little tugs. But, you know,
Yeah.
just knowing how to jig fish and what a bite is, they're very lethargic this time of year.
Right. So it's a real touch technique.
We're going to be fishing. Yesterday we found the fish from about 43 to 48 feet out here at the mouth.
Okay.
So we're going to try to keep her in that strike zone and catch some fish.
Let's go to work.
Got him. No, he's right on the top of the mountain.
All right, Dave, you got one?
My God, you know what? Just like you said, I just felt heavy. You know, there wasn't any real bouncing of the rod or anything. And so, you know, hook sets are free, Rick, so I just let him have it. And it's not exactly a bragger, but we got fish in the boat.
About a 12-incher, a good eater.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice fish. Very nice. Pretty.
Honey, you are not gonna believe this. I bought Pepsi Next.
What's Pepsi Next?
It's the new cola from Pepsi. It's got real cola taste, but 60% less sugar.
Real cola taste. 60% less sugar.
Yeah. I know.
It's unbelievable.
But this is the most impressive thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Oh, definitely. Let me get a camera. I've never had anything like it. My parents are gonna flip.
Yeah, they're gonna be so proud.
Introducing Pepsi Next. Drink it to believe it.
Are you getting this, honey? It's going viral.
This is Dave Graybill, the Fishin Magician, and when I fish the Upper Columbia and the Madhow Rivers for steelhead, I stay at the Lake Pateros Inn. I can tie my boat right up out front and be minutes from the action. The famous Miller Hole on the Madhow is less than 2 miles away. The rooms are comfortable and surprisingly affordable, and I'll be making the Lake Pateros Inn my base camp. To learn how to book your room at the Lake Pateros Inn, log on to lakepaterosmotorin.com or call 866-444-1985.
Your Town Ford is kicking off the season with the best deals of the year. It's the Built Ford Tough Truck event. Great power and amazing fuel economy means no compromises. And that's what you get in a truck built Ford Tough, like the Ford F-150 with a powerful and efficient EcoBoost engine. The power you want and the economy you need. Or Ford Super Duty with its amazing 6.7-liter Power Stroke turbo diesel. If you're looking for power, payload, towing economy, your Town Ford's got the truck for you. Head to your Town Ford in East Wenatchee.
Hayden hooks up. This looks like the real deal, too.
He ain't that big. He didn't like it when I set the hook, though.
He did. He put a nice bend in that rod. That was okay. And you're in 52 feet up there? Was. Okay, well, let's see what we got here.
Yep.
There he is. All right.
Another good eater.
Not bad.
And the hook comes right out.
Nice. Okay, all of a sudden, man, I better get my bait back down there. We got a little bite going. And now Rick reared back. Holy moly.
He thinks he's big.
We got a nice little bite going here all of a sudden. And this one was on a blade bait. We get this fish in here, and we'll show you what that means. It's a little bit different technique.
And it's a technique that, other than these jigs, oh, this is a decent fish. You might want to net this one. There's a little better fish.
Now we're talking.
That's a good fish there.
Nice, Rick. Way to go. Now that last fish came on board when you were casting a blade bait. What's that baby look like here?
It's just basically a piece of metal. It's a jig, and it's weighted up front. They come in a variety of colors. What you do is you can vertical jig it straight up and down, or you can cast it and let it hit the bottom and jig it back. And it's just quick jigs. It's another very popular winter bait for walleye. It comes in a bunch of different colors. I like silver. I put some red eyes on this. If you looked in my box here, you definitely tell I like silver, but you can see it comes in a variety of colors. I've made up some blues there, and
you add your own little touches to them.
Yeah, little tiger stripes on some.
Yeah. And those kind of get a buzz. They flutter.
They flutter. They act like a wounded fish. When you lift them up, they flutter up. And then you drop it down slack and they flutter down. And usually on these you won't feel a bite. When you start to lift up, they've already picked it up and you'll feel a little weight, set the hook, and it's a fish.
Well, that first stop wasn't bad, Rick. That was good for 3 fish in the boat, and we missed a couple more, but not fast enough for you guys.
Not fast enough, so we're going to head up river and try another spot where yesterday we couldn't even get 2 rods down before we had fish on. So we're going to head up river and give that a shot.
Sounds like a great spot, and this is above the bridge over the Spokane River.
That's correct.
And so we're going to run right past the marina, up below the bridge, and try the place that was the hot spot yesterday anyway.
Let's give it a shot.
Yep, we're going to move our operation up into the Spokane River. This is a great marina here. I know my buddy Gordon loves having his houseboat here. It's hard to get him off of it in the season. There's our bridge over the Spokane River. This is a very popular area with walleye fishermen in the spring. Looks like Rick's buddy's got a fish on up there. All right.
That's so small it looks like a walleye.
Looks like a walleye, only smaller. A perch.
All right, now we're getting some bites. All of a sudden, things are picking up. They got a fish on ahead of us. Rick just hooked up, and then Hayden just missed one. We just about had a oh, there's a nice fish too.
Good eater there, Dave.
Gosh, yeah, that's okay. Here we go. Now we're getting into them. I'm liking this.
Perfect little eaters there.
Hot dog. Exactly, you know, and that's what you're looking forward to, is a really nice walleye feed after today. Woohoo! Okay, now we're tucked up above the bridge, maybe a half mile or something, fishing around an island up here, but this is probably just one of many spots that you fish on the Spokane River. Is that right, Rick?
It is. It's always my first stop because we're, of course, start at the bottom and work our way up. There's lots of flats. You probably can't see up the river now, but there's lots of flats that the fish hang on all the way up to Porcupine Bay, and then the river narrows down, and then it can get a little sketchy up in there. But pretty much as far as Porcupine Bay, you look for the flats and the points, and you can see them going around corners. There's usually parks on, boat-in parks on the flats, so they're easy to find, and you just find a depth that the fish are at, and you know, target them there. You know, we're again today working, you know, anywhere from 30 to 50 feet. We're kind of finding fish scattered in all those depths, but that's what it takes up the Spokane Arm, just finding the fish and fishing those flats and switching your depths till you find it, and there you go.
I noticed Porcupine Bay Campground. I passed that on my way driving down here to Two Rivers. Is that, and there's a boat launch and good facilities there too?
Boat launch and a campground, and that's a good destination this time of year because these fish are staging to spawn, and you know, of course they spawn throughout the lake, but you know, a lot of fish travel up these rivers to spawn up these rivers, so that's what the anglers are targeting.
Spokane Arm's a good place in the early spring, and then during the later spring and summer months, the fish, after they spawn, they move out into the main lake, and that's where you concentrate more?
That's where you concentrate, but there's still fish in here.
Sure.
I mean, you can come up here and catch fish, you know, but a lot of fish disperse back into the main lake, and then you target them out there.
The goal of battery systems is to provide the best products combined with the most efficient service at competitive prices. I've found their people live up to this, so don't buy anything without talking to them. You should make their batteries and accessories your choice to power your vehicles and boats. This is Dave Graybill, and I choose battery systems to keep me running onshore and on the water. To find a battery systems product expert in a location near you, log on to batterysystems.net.
Boating is something the whole family can enjoy, and it's surprising how affordable a new boat can be from Bob File Boats and Motors. Stop in today and take a look at the largest selection of boats in North Central Washington, including top names, Bayliner and Tahoe. Bob File Boats and Motors can help you find that boat that fits your needs. And whether it's for fishing or just a ride on the water, you can be sure your new boat will provide hours of fun for years to come. Visit the boating experts today. Bob File Boats and Motors on the Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee, the place to buy a boat.
All right. See, these guys just slid in over to our spot, and all of a sudden now they're catching fish. All right, good job. All right.
No, that I was hung up on that log and I reeled it about halfway up, and this one got hung up, so I let go of it, and this one was as soon as I picked it up.
All right, that's a good fish.
That was not bad.
All right. You guys are filling the box now. There's another one on our Better Buddies boat. Another jig and worm setup. Ooh.
That's fine. Oh, you're right there. It's okay.
There he is.
Whoa.
All right. Another fish in the boat. This isn't bad. This is a nice spot up here in the Spokane Arm.
You see, Dave, we're kind of just hanging on one spot because walleye are a school in fish.
I got a hold of that one.
So we're trying to target the school.
Hayden. In the holder, that's the way to catch them.
Yeah. Don't pay attention to your rod. That's how we do it.
A lot of times I'm better off that way. Oh, good. It's another eater.
Stinger.
Yep, got him on the stinger hook. Great.
So Hayden just brought a kid home, didn't he?
All right, another one for the box. Good job.
All right, now we got Dave in the action.
All right, feels good, boy. My rod was quiet there for a while.
He was just complaining that he hadn't had a fish in a while.
There we go.
There we go, nice walleye.
Glow hook.
Another
and
good
a
eater.
crawler. Not bad.
Awesome.
Woohoo!
And what you got there, Dave?
I think you would call that a juvenile.
Hold it closer to the camera. It makes it look bigger.
Yeah.
Trick photography.
Well, like you say, that's a good eater. While I've got this fish, Rick, what is the length and limit for Lake Roosevelt walleye?
There's no limit, or no size limit. So you can keep a 4-incher and 8 fish limit.
Eight fish limit.
8 fish limit.
Well, that makes for a nice fillet right there. All right, fun
nice
stuff.
Fish. We got a good fish there, Dave?
Oh, it's just about a little better.
It's a little better fish. Oh, yeah.
Not bad.
Stopped and had a little bite to eat, and that's the best time to catch fish, when you're busy.
This one, it looks like it's got a leader coming out.
Yeah, it looks like he's broke somebody off.
Yeah, it's moss jaws. All right.
Nice fish.
So this one isn't a monster.
Yeah, this one isn't very big.
Used my trick though, took a bite of that sandwich. Well, what do you know actually? Hey,
Not too bad.
That's not too bad at all, Rick.
Just didn't have the fight in him.
Yeah. Hot dog.
Another fish on a glow jig.
Yes, that's working great today. I tell you what, that live well's getting crowded.
It's getting full.
This is the third fish in short order.
We should have been eating all day.
Yeah, we should always have a sandwich in our hand. Oh, that's
A little better fish.
I like
Might want to
that.
net that one.
Nice. Look at that, and the hook
jig
just
out right
came
away.
right out.
Got a 17-incher.
Yes. Way to go, Rick. Yeah, we thought we missed that one, but you got him. All right.
Good fish.
He pounded it.
We keep talking about leaving, and we keep hooking fish.
I know.
Yeah. He's got a decent fish there. Well,
That little guy.
he's a little guy, but hey, I tell you what.
He's mad.
He keeps the... Yeah, look at that
He
guy.
ain't very happy. He's all flared out.
They just keep coming. This is great.
Every time we threaten to leave, let's do that more often.
All right, Dave, you got another one there?
Yeah, by golly. That glow hook. That's about the size of Hayden's fish.
Yep, and we just got bit off on the other rod.
We've got another nice flurry going.
Yep, another little bite going.
All right.
All right, good job, Dave.
Looks like our buddies have got another fish on.
You're milking it like it's a toad.
All right. We moved down lake a bit. We're on the big lake now, and a little bit of a breeze blowing, so Rick is setting out a windsock. What that's going to do is slow us down with this wind drift so that we keep our bait presentations very slow.
No one is happy about having to repair a vehicle after an accident. However, I was very happy when I chose First Choice Collision Center when I needed this service. I can't say enough about how they treated me. Fast and friendly just doesn't say enough. They have amazing technology to make a damaged vehicle look like new. At First Choice Collision Center, you can expect modern service with old-fashioned values. That was my experience, and I'm sure it will be yours too.
Hooked on Toys!
Anglers are shifting gears and focusing on our popular winter fisheries with Rufus Woods Reservoir at the top of the list. Whether you're after big triploid rainbow from a boat or the shore, Hooked on Toys in Wenatchee has everything you need to do battle with these prized trout. From power bait to trolling lures, Hooked on Toys has the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Stock up for winter fishing fun at Hooked on Toys in Wenatchee, located at 1444 North Wenatchee Avenue or online at hookedontoys.com.
Hooked on Toys!
No matter where anglers are heading, whether it's Banks Lake, Lake Roosevelt, or Rufus Woods Reservoir, they all make the same stop. That's at Big Wally's in Coulee City. Here they find everything they need for a successful day on the water. Fuel, ice, a tackle shop, and people who know what they're selling behind the counter. State and tribal licenses, even a hot breakfast or lunch. When you're on the go, don't forget to stop at Big Wally's and visit their website at bigwallysfishing.com.
And, all right, here we are drifting across this big flat. I missed one. Hayden didn't miss his.
Decent fish right here.
Great.
Move the net.
You might want to net this one. He's pulling a little bit of line.
Sounds like it might be the kind of fish we've been looking for.
That's a little better fish. Bring it over here, boy.
All right, hey, good job hooking that guy. Well, looks like it was worth the stop on the way home. Fish number 2 here.
Not very big, but another fish. A trout.
A trout. Look at that. Rainbow. How about that?
Dave, he's not coming in the boat.
No, those guys don't get a ride. Nice rainbow though. All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're back at the dock, and here is Rick giving us a demonstration. Now, he's a man of my heart. Notice he's using an electric knife, and I'll tell you what, this can make the work go a lot quicker.
Gotta have the electric.
And let me zoom in here, and you can watch how he does it. See how he just leaves that still attached and zips it off?
And we cut out the ribs and the belly there. And a nice little fillet.
Just that quick and easy. Not bad.
This is awesome for doing a lot of fish.
I want to find one with about a 12-inch blade so I can do my kings. The big kings.
Well, this will work for them.
Yep.
And you can do kings the same way.
Exactly the same way. Makes a real pretty fillet. Nice job.
Well, we're off the water back at Two Rivers Marina. Rick Rovegno and I have had a great day with his son Hayden in our boat out there chasing walleye in the very early spring. We were breaking ice in the marina getting out to the main lake this morning.
Crazy winter walleye fisherman.
Absolutely, and it was worth it.
It was. It was a good day out there.
We really only fished 3 spots, and we were really within sight of the marina the whole time, and caught fish everywhere we went today. Now, that first flat that we fished just down below the marina was pretty productive. Now, one of the things that when I mentioned I was headed up here to fish at Lake Roosevelt was they fish deep up there.
They do. Some guys go as deep as 100 feet.
Oh my
to catch
goodness.
these walleye up here, and it's one of the few places where you really can find them from 100 feet down to 5 feet.
And I think the last spot we were fishing, we were pulling fish from a little over 50 feet.
Yep, 53 feet, 54 feet.
Right. Now, just to give people an idea again, now we are at Two Rivers Marina, which is right where the Spokane River enters Lake Roosevelt. We can look out the window here and see the bridge. And we fished from just below the marina, probably maybe as far as, 3 or 4 miles down above the rock there.
Yeah, not very far. We don't have to travel very far here in the winter.
And then above the bridge, we ran maybe less than a mile above the bridge. And the closest town to where we're sitting right now would be Dayton, is that correct?
Davenport.
Davenport, that's the town I was looking for. And so from Leavenworth I traveled up through Banks Lake area, Coulee City area, and then headed east. And from Wenatchee, we're probably roughly about 3 hours, say, from Wenatchee to give you a reference of where we are. Now, and Rick, I met earlier this year, and we talked at the Puyallup Sports Show and kind of decided when we were going to make our trip up here. And Rick, I know that you've been fishing
in this general area for years, Lake Roosevelt, just for fun for many years. And then you've been guiding in this region in central Washington from Banks to Roosevelt and fishing tournaments from Potholes to Moses Lake to this whole area for about the last 5 years.
No, I've been fishing tournaments for like 10 years.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Tournaments for
a
10
little bit.
years. Yeah, and then been guiding for about the last 5 years.
5 or 6 years. Yes.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, he showed, we just used a couple of basic techniques today. He and his son Hayden pre-fished yesterday. They were able to get up here a day before I arrived, and so they went out and found these locations and knew where there was going to be some fish waiting for us and had it pretty well dialed in. And just basically 2 different techniques that we use today. And to get someone really excited about walleye, one of the reasons I get excited about it every year is because the table fare of the walleye. I mean,
Excellent.
Don't we all have kind of a love-hate relationship with walleye? Because they can drive you batty.
They are. I think the hate part's the catching part.
That's right.
The toughest fish to catch in my book.
Yes.
I mean, you have your good days and you have a lot of bad days.
Right, exactly. And then the good part is when those fillets hit the pan.
That's right.
There's just nothing better than a good walleye feed. And one of the things that I liked about this opportunity to come up to Lake Roosevelt is one of the first opportunities that walleye serious anglers can get in a given season, because things start happening up here when a lot of others like Potholes, Moses Lake, Banks can be frozen. We've got open water up here in Lake Roosevelt.
Yeah, year round. Year round, because it's fluctuating so much. It's, the Columbia River, it's moving.
Right.
And it's just a fishery where the other lakes, like you say, are either frozen or they just don't turn on until after the spawn, until like May or June.
Exactly.
Up here, this is year round, but it really starts kicking off in January and February, where you can come into an area like this and where the fish are staging the spawn and there's a lot of fish around, and catch some nice fish.
Yeah, well, we did too. There was an excellent bite today at times. We had good flurries of action. Actually, we boated a total of 17 walleye today and lost some others. So this is pretty decent fishing.
Oh yeah, it's excellent fishing.
It's very good walleye fishing. And that's another nice thing about it, is it takes off earlier in the year and it goes, like you say, it's a year-round fishery. But there's a lot of appeal at this time of the year because the fish are staging for the spawn, and so you can get a lot of activity. And tell you what we're going to do here in a couple of minutes is we're going to switch gears, and I'm going to have Rick show you some of the tackle, just the basic tackle that you could go out and collect yourself, get geared up to do some serious walleye fishing here in central Washington. Well, one of the things that I enjoyed about today, and I think if you're just getting into walleye fishing, you'll enjoy too, because the techniques were fairly straightforward and the tackle wasn't very complicated either. And one of the favorites I think we found today was that good, what you call the glow head jig.
Yeah, it's a luminous jig that with a shot of LED lights glows down at the depths we're fishing, and it's the ticket, and it's simple.
It's very simple. Why don't you show, you've got a rod now too with one of those on it right here, I think it is. And this is a one-piece rod, which was really nice. It's a great feeling rod. It's got a nice balance to it. And this glow head, is this a half ounce?
It's a 3/8.
3/8 ounce
3/8.
glow head. And also, Rick had the neatest little contraption here today. It's made by Rapala, and it's a light box. You called it a compartment?
I call it the coffin.
Coffin.
It's just like a glasses case that has 8 LED lights in it. You stick your jig, or you can stick a glow plug or anything in it.
Yeah,
Close
because
the
it
lid.
was about 8 inches long, so yeah, you could get a whole plug in there. Close her down,
Close
hit
her
a
down
button.
and hit it for 10 seconds, and you're good to go.
That was great. And that just makes these things so bright. And of course, like I said earlier, we were taking fish in depths of 50 feet today, and it's dark down there. And so this is going to get the fish's attention. And then you'll notice this too. This is the first time I've ever fished a jig head without any kind of skirt or anything. You just slid a night crawler up there, and all the way up until, you know, most of these jigs will have a little sort of
a barb.
A barb on them, exactly. And that'll hold that night crawler in place. And then just center on down after you've put on a little bit of secret sauce.
Put a little bit of secret scent on it. One key is, in this time of year, you know, a lot of times these walleye aren't wanting big baits, and they're light biters. So when we put the worm on there, we're only leaving about a ½ an inch below the hook.
I'm glad you mentioned that too. You're not putting a whole night crawler on this thing at all. You're pinching it off like you say, so it's only extending below the bend in the hook about a ½ an inch or so.
Because you've seen it today, we had a couple missed bites where your worms bit off right at your hook. They're just picking up the bottom end. If you got a 6-inch night crawler on there, you're not going to hook very many fish.
Absolutely. That's a really good point to make. And I should also mention too, I was very surprised that even with just a 3/8 ounce jig head, we were getting to the bottom of 50 feet no problem.
Well, half the day we didn't have any wind.
That's right.
That helps a lot.
That makes a big difference when you're jigging.
Towards the end of the day, when we got out in the wind, you know, we were long lining a little bit. We probably should have gone to heavier jigs, but
you know, they were still working.
Yep.
We still hooked fish, doing it that way too. And I was still surprised that I could make contact, and I was sure that I had bottom contact, even with the 3/8 ounce jig.
Right.
And this is just your basic spinning reel. You know, that's
it's
in your
Shimano reel. You know, it's nothing really expensive. Probably $75 for the reel. Mm-hmm. We got a Berkeley rod. It's a 7-foot spinning rod, and it's, some guys like them a little longer which I do, because it's catching fish. You know, the fight's a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we also use some 6'2" rods today, and they're also medium spinning rods. You know, and they're a little stouter and sensitive at the tip, whereas the 7-footers got a little more sensitivity all the way down to the butt.
There you go.
But I think the fight on that's a lot, you know, better. You know.
Yeah, you do get a more feel for the fish. And also, I'm glad you picked that one up too, because you'll notice this jig head has another little trick added to it, and that is a stinger hook. You'll notice that there's just about an inch of leader material down to a small treble hook, and that can make a difference when those fish are short striking.
Short biting, because your worm's right down to the end of that stinger hook, and when they grab the bottom of your worm, they're grabbing that stinger hook, and we've seen several fish hooked today just on the stinger hook.
Exactly. Yep. And what line test would you recommend?
I like 8-pound test. As you can see, most of the fish we caught today, 8-pound test easily can handle every one. There are big fish out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the time of year when the females are big. You know, but I'm comfortable with 8-pound tests that
sure.
I could fight a large fish with.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And some guys tie braided line.
Yes.
Use braided line right to their jigs, or they'll tie in about 2 feet of mono.
Mm-hmm. Leader material.
Leader material.
That, yeah.
I've seen good fishermen tie right to their jigs and catch walleye just fine, rather than not tying the mono or.
Sure. Yeah. Or sometimes, you know, just like you say, if they add even 4 feet of a fluorocarbon, if they want to get real fancy,
exactly,
that can make a difference to, at least in some people's minds.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and that can be very effective. Well, I tell you what, that is proved to be. I mean, that's where all three of us, Hayden, you, and we're all using basically the same setup, and all caught fish today. And I'd recommend to anyone, get a basic setup like that, and you're ready to go walleye fishing here on Lake Roosevelt.
Well, I'm in my kitchen at home after a great trip to Lake Roosevelt because thanks to Rick and his son Hayden, my wife and I are looking forward to a great fresh walleye dinner. You know, I also wanted to thank Mike Cook and Gary Adams that were along in the trip too, to make sure that we were able to find fish and have a great day on the water up there. When I made contact with Rick, he suggested that I call the White Willow Motel. It's just 5 miles from the Two River Casino there, and they've just got great comfortable rooms and an RV park. They're worth checking into if you're going to plan a trip to the Two Rivers area on Lake Roosevelt. And you can learn all about them by logging on to whitewillowmotel.com.